Today, we're recapping the action drama movie, The Pool. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie opens up with our main character, Day, waking up in a pool with bloodied hands. Initially dazed, he comes to when he realizes that an alligator is chewing on his broken leg. Panicked, he quickly scoots away as fast as he can and fights off the beast with a bucket. At first, the animal is unfazed but decides to leave him alone. 6 days earlier. Day's working on a movie set when the director asks him to fix the underwater lights for the pool. The pool will be shut down for the next day, so they have to wrap up filming tonight. Day's the only member of the arts team and obediently does what he's told. Later, his girlfriend Koi shows up to set with his dog Lucky. She asks him if it's alright for her to dive into the pool, and he strictly tells her no. The production continues with Day and Koi watching from the underwater window in the pool. He takes a shot of insulin, and the two flirtingly kiss. It's Day's birthday, and Koi gets him a decorative egg. She jokes that she's pregnant, and Day immediately shuts down the idea. They're in no financial situation to raise a child, and the idea makes Day nervous. A sound is heard from the other room, and at first they think it's the dog Lucky, but quickly realize it's their mutual friend Mayum, hiding around the corner. He tells them that the director is looking for him. Their dog Lucky is trained by Day himself, and was hired for a shot in the movie. It's Day's hope that the extra money can help them save up for a wedding. Lucky masterfully completes his role in the movie, and the film is wrapped with a group photo commemorating the achievement. The next day, Day is swimming in the pool enjoying his day off with Lucky at his side. Him and his friend Mayum are tasked with cleaning up after the film. Mayum begins to drain the pool and tells Day that he needs to get out soon. But Day's asleep and doesn't hear him clearly enough. In the process, he chains up Lucky, drops a cigarette case in the sewer, and puts Day's insulin shot on a table nearby. Koi calls Day, but Day ignores her calls and puts it on silent. Mayum's leaving for vacation for a few months and tells Day to finish up their duties. In exchange, he'll order them a pizza. Day agrees, and Mayum goes off to catch his flight, leaving Day alone. Later, Day is still in the pool relaxing despite Mayum's warning. He wakes up to the pool nearly half drained, with no ladder for him to climb out of. He tries to climb out, but without a ladder, he has no way of climbing out. He breaks a nail trying to grip onto the walls of the pool and falls back into the water. Before we go on, like the video, smash the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, or Slender Man will haunt your dreams. In his struggle to climb out, he notices in a mirror that his phone is above him. He does his best to lasso the phone down to call for help, but nothing works. Day's about to give up when the phone begins to ring. It's Koi, and the vibration of the phone is shifting it closer and closer to the edge of the pool. Day prepares himself to catch it when Lucky begins to fall into the pool on the other side. Day's forced to make a decision. Will he wait to save his phone to call for help, or will he save his dog? Day chooses to save his dog Lucky and help him up with the inflatable lounger while the phone falls off the edge. Thinking that the phone is doomed to fall into the water, Day turns away, unable to bear the loss of his lifeline. But as he turns away, he still hears the vibrating of his phone. The phone was attached to a charger, and it now hangs on the edge of the pool, dangling above the water. Day quickly swims to it, but in an attempt to reach it, the phone tumbles into the water, breaking it. His phone is now officially gone, and with his phone gone, Day tries to plug up the drainage pipe and swims below the water. When doing so, the pizza delivery man finally comes with the food that Mayum ordered him. The delivery man doesn't see Day under the water and calls his supervisors for advice. When Day finally notices that the delivery man is at the pool looking for him, his chain gets caught up on the drainage pipe. Day struggles to break free of the chain, but can't do so before the delivery man decides to leave the pizza with Lucky. Eventually, Day breaks free of the chain, but it's already too late. The delivery man is on his moped and can't hear Day's cry for help over the sound of the engine. He leaves, and Day is now out of options. Sometime later, Koi arrives to check up on Day. She notices him asleep, and despite seeing the pool half drained, she decides to take the opportunity to jump off the diving board like she always wanted to. Just as Koi's about to jump off into the pool, Day wakes up and tells her not to. Startled by Day, she slips and falls, hitting the back of her head on the diving board. She tumbles into the water unconscious, and now Day must take the robe he used earlier to plug the pool to help stop the bleeding. It begins to rain, an ominous sign of the gloomy situation. That night, The pool has drained to the point that Day can finally touch the bottom. Koi is still unconscious, and Lucky is still chained to the diving board. Lucky hears a sound in the distance and begins to bark incessantly. It's an alligator, and then it's drawn to Lucky's barking. Day tries to tell Lucky to stop, but out of fear he continues and accidentally draws the alligator into the pool. The gator is now stuck in the pool, with the two of them, unable to escape as well. The next day, the pool is fully drained, and Day notices a pregnancy test in Koi's pocket. The test is positive. It turns out that she was serious when she told him that she was pregnant the day prior. This provokes a mixed response out of Day. On one hand, he loves this girl, but on the other, he really doesn't want to have a child. Motivated by the news, Day takes it upon himself to save her by any means necessary. Earlier, Mayhem threw a roll of tape into the pool. Now, it sits inside the gator's mouth. Day's only hope at stopping the bleeding. He approaches the sleeping beast, ready to risk his hand in order to get the roll. But before he grabs it, Lucky barks and startles Day. He tells the dog to be quiet and tries to grab the roll of tape again. He manages to do so, but only with a split second to spare. The gator wakes up and tries to bite Day. Day quickly backs away, narrowly escaping, and uses the tape to wrap up Koi's head. The gator seems uninterested in him for now. Day tries to open the manhole that drained the pool, but it's sealed too tightly. He needs to unscrew the bolts. And it's not until he uses a necklace around Koi's neck that he's able to unscrew those bolts. In that brief moment that he went to go get Koi's necklace, the gator moved and now sits on top of the drain. He uses the roll of tape to shoo the beast away and quickly undoes the bolts. But as he gets up to move Koi, the gator crawls into the hole, blocking off their exit. With yet another roadblock in their way, Day begins to panic and tries everything he can do to get out of that pool. Trapped under the hot sun, and with only the duct tape left as their medical supply, he rips off his nail and patches it up with the tape. Feeling cornered, he crawls into the sewer, looking for a way out, even with the gator in there with him. He finds a ladder that leads to a drain outside of the pool, but it's locked. He calls for help, knowing nobody will hear him. In the process, he's left Koi exposed alone. The gator takes the opportunity to climb out of the sewer and try and eat Koi. Noticing his mistake, Day quickly returns to her side and throws the beast off of her. Koi finally wakes up dazed and confused. Day has to explain to her the situation that they're in. Stuck in a pool with a gator, no way out, and no way to call for help. Everything seems hopeless. And Day's worried that the gator wants to eat their baby. Flashback to an earlier conversation he had with Mayhem. Day vents to him that Koi chose Day over a bunch of richer men. He's worried that he's not enough for her, and that despite their love, he emphasizes that he can't afford a child. If Koi was pregnant, he would want her to get an abortion, because the child would grow up struggling. Mayhem tells him that he's being selfish, and that abortion is legal and a sin. So, whatever happened, he'd have to step up as the father and husband. Later that night, a cup on a string falls down into the pool. The couple use it as a telephone, and the two discuss how hungry they are. Lucky, on the other hand, has been eating the pizza that was delivered a couple days prior. Lucky drops the box into the pool, and the two eat up, remembering a conversation they had about a pizza date they promised to go on. Day 3. Lucky drops a metal pole into the pool, and Day has begun to notice the effects of not taking his insulin. He spells out help with the remaining tape and passes out from exhaustion. In his delusions, he has a nightmare about drowning. That night, they realize that the beast trapped in the pool with them is a female. The gator has laid some eggs and is protecting her would-be children with malice intent. Day 4. Starved and hungry Day stares at the gator's eggs. He's exhausted and pretends to pass out from exhaustion to lure the gator into a trap. It falls into the drain, and the two quickly cover the manhole, trapping it. Using some leftover wood, they start a fire with some techniques they learned from watching Castaway, and the two eat the gator's eggs. In an attempt to get out, Day lifts Koi over his shoulders, but the two fall just short of the ledge. If they want to get out, it won't be by climbing out. Day and Koi finally come to blows about their opposite stances with the baby, and Koi responds poorly to Day's response to not wanting it. She tells him that he has to step up now or never. And Day comes up with a plan to lure the gator back out so Koi has an opportunity to hide in the tunnels. It's Day 5, and the two lure the gator out of the tunnels. It notices that its eggs have been eaten and tries to attack Day out of anger. Day only barely manages to slip into the tunnel before it tries to pounce on him. In the tunnel, the effects of not taking his insulin really begin to take its toll. Their one hope is on the table above them where their friend Mayhem left it. In an attempt to get it, Day uses a wire and a towel. While it initially works, the towel slips and causes the shot to tumble into the pool, spilling its contents all over the floor. He climbs down, and unknowingly his dog whistle necklace gets caught on the ladder. The following morning, Day dreams about him and Koi's future baby. In his hysteria, he drops the decorative egg under a barrel. When he reaches for it, he finds the cigarette case that Mayhem dropped into the sewer earlier in the movie. Inside the case is 3 cigarettes and an emergency insulin kit, saving him. Later that day, they think a man is flying above them, and Day hurries to signal him for help. Unfortunately, it's just a kid's toy flying overhead. On the plus side, a fence collapses and drops some barbed wire into the pool, and Day uses it to try and climb out. The wire digs into his hands, but he manages to get to the top of the pool before the wire breaks, and he falls back into the pool, breaking his leg. He tries to patch it up as best as he can, but passes out in the process. When he comes to, we find ourselves back at the scene from the beginning of the movie once again, fighting off the gator with a bucket. That night, it begins to rain, and the drain that Koi is in begins to fill. Day's only hope is to see where the other end of the tunnel leads to. So, with his broken foot, he leads the gator away and crawls into the tunnel, finding what appears to be another manhole cover leading to an exit. It's not. The other manhole cover just leads to another adjacent pool, equally as deep and equally as empty. Day crawls back into the tunnels, completely devoid of hope. Day 7. The kid's toy that was flying overhead lands itself into the pool, and the 2 men flying it make their way into the pool. They climb into the pool and notice the blood and message for help. They brush it off as something for a commercial and leave before Day has the opportunity to ask them for help. Fortunately, they leave a ladder in the pool for Day to use. With the drain filling up for Koi and the last opportunity of escape in front of Day, he has no choice but to make a stand against the gator. He wraps his hand with barbed wire and begins to fight the gator with his bare hands. Day and the beast are fighting, and during their battle he manages to stab it in the eye. His luck only gets worse as the heavy pipes holding the ladder up collapses and pulls the ladder out of the pool before Day has an opportunity to use it. On top of this, the drain that Koi's in has completely filled. Day has completely given up hope and lets the gator chew on him, but comes out of his depression when he hears the whistle he used to train Lucky blowing in the distance. Koi has begun to use it as a breathing tube, and the sound has riled up Lucky. He jams the gator's mouth open with a stick before he witnesses his beloved dog jump into the pool following the sound. The chain around Lucky's neck prevents him from falling, and it hangs the poor dog dead. This is the final straw for Day, and he takes the anger out on the gator and kills it with a metal pole. With Lucky dead, he uses his hanging body as a way to climb up and out of the pool, finally escaping. He hurries to Koi and tries to free her with the leverage of a pole. He even goes as far as jumping back into the pool to gain enough leverage to pry the drain open. It's only with his fast reflexes that he hangs onto the edge and doesn't fall in. He hurries to Koi and drags her out of the water. And while at first it seems like she's died, she finally wakes up, spitting out all that water. The nightmare's finally over, and they can go home. The 2018 movie The Pool is produced by the Dark Army Studios, led with actor Thriradejwang as Day and Ratnaman Rachirathem as Koi. Clearly, a lot of bad luck got Day in this messy situation. We're curious, what would you have done if you were in his shoes? Let us know in the comments with the hashtag CinemaRecap.